Hi, today I'll be talking about DNA fingerprinting, and to do so, we will travel back to 1995 when an absolutely tremendous movie came out called Clueless. We'll be using the characters from the movie to solve a crime that was committed. That's right, a crime. The crime being, someone scratched Dionne's car. Now, for those of you who have not seen Clueless, I highly recommend the film, but for our purposes today, we only need to know that Dionne spent her day at school, then had movie night with Cher. When she was leaving Cher's home in the morning, she noticed a huge scratch on her expensive red car, as if Dionne could drive her car with a scratch on it. To figure out who scratched her car, Dionne narrowed down the suspects to Cher, who was a notoriously bad driver, Travis, who was a reckless skateboarder spotted near Dionne's car after school practicing some tricks, Mel, who was Cher's father and had come home after Dionne had arrived for movie night, and Christian, another classmate who joined them for movie night but left after the movie. Fortunately, right next to the scratch, a fingerprint had been found, as if the wrongdoer had examined their work after the crime was committed. To determine who had scratched her car, Dionne had a detective compare the DNA of the fingerprint, her own DNA, and the four suspects' DNA through gel electrophoresis at multiple loci. For a suspect to be accused, their DNA must match the fingerprint DNA exactly at all loci compared. In the first locus compared, as shown, the first allele of the fingerprint matches all of the characters except Mel. This means that Mel could not have been the person who left the fingerprint, even if his DNA matched the second locus. For the second allele of the fingerprint at the first locus, Travis, Mel, and Christian's DNA matched. However, we already determined that Mel did not match the first allele. This means that we can narrow our suspects to Travis and Christian, but we are not sure which one of them did it yet. This is why multiple loci are often compared. At the second locus, only Cher and Travis match both alleles of the fingerprint. However, Cher was already ruled out after looking at the first locus. Christian's DNA does not match perfectly as he has an allele further down that is inconsistent with the fingerprint. Unfortunately for Travis, who was depicted as a skater boy and did not seem as well off as Cher and Dionne's family, he was the only suspect who matched the fingerprint. After being interrogated, he admitted he was guilty and that when he was practicing a 360 ollie kickflip to impress Ty, his skateboard had scratched Dionne's car. Dionne, however, had money to spare and decided to repair the damage on her own. Looking back at the gels, we can see that Cher and her father both share an allele at both the loci compared. This is because each parent passes on one allele to their offspring, so at all loci, Cher would have one allele from her father, Mel, and the other from her late mother. At the first locus, Mel and Cher both showed this allele, and on the second locus, they shared this allele. The pictures used were obtained from the websites listed below, and all information was from the Genetics 311 lectures and problem sessions.